Hey guys, I love that you're tuning in again, and in this video I'm gonna visit the Retro Games Con in Zwolle, that is in the Netherlands. In this video I show you my visit to the Games Con, but also the pickups I did. And I had to say there are some pretty interesting pickups, some with a story and another one I never thought I'd own.
Hi, let me drive you to the Retro Games Con in Zwolle. The convention center is right across the central station. And with the words of wisdom of Nelson Mandela, we are welcome to the convention. There are multiple smaller rooms where vendors sell all their retro video games. As you might know, I'm mainly hunting for Sega stuff from the 80s and the 90s. I love that at this fair you could find something else than your typical stuff. For example, these Philips Video Pack games. And this guy had really interesting stuff. Neo Geo. I'm by the way still searching for a console. And what about this Spectra Vision game? I never heard of it, not of the game but of the system. I had to look it up. And that's what I like about these fairs, you'll learn something new. Regretfully, there was not really interesting Game Gear stuff. For months in a row last year I had a streak of finding game after game after game, but the last weeks, months, nothing. Yeah, and one big tip, look under the tables, especially under the tables. No one is looking there. There you can find stuff. Yeah, I had a pretty good day with some interesting finds and some really good deals. It was my first time on this expo and I was about to leave the expo, and then hidden away in the corner I found a room that I missed. And I'm glad that I took a look, because what I found there made my day. It was the cherry on the cake. I'll show you in a couple of minutes. Let's head back home.
At least this was an interesting fair. The first two items, I got them for one price, and the cheapest one was for free, so I had to dive in there. And amongst there was a game that was in really good shape, that was Art Alive. And Art Alive is a kind of the worst version of Mario Paint, but then for the Mega Drive. Regretfully, it doesn't support the Sega mouse. Why? But I saw this game lying around as a kid, and if I had paid 120 guilders for that, I would have been really pissed as a kid. You can load some predefined graphics and color them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You can put a figure on it and that walks a certain path, but that's the only way that this game is remotely interesting. What is interesting is that it is really defining for the age, and it aged very bad, but nevertheless that's why it's interesting. Luckily it was very cheap. The next game I picked up together with Art Alive, and that is The Adventures of Mighty Max. It is a platformer game in which you have to search stuff. And that is really not my thing. You have to search weapons in a level and you have to throw them in portals. So there is also some kind of puzzle element to the game. There's one big problem besides that I don't like. By the way, you can play with 2 players, that's really nice. Is that everything moves in the game. Max jumps and his other companions you can play at. There's 3 different characters. Max jumps way too high, which means that you have also a moving background. Enemies are moving. I can't play this game for more than 5 minutes. I'm getting really nauseous, and I can endure a lot of Sonic games without being nauseous, but this game I get nauseous with. regretfully, it's definitely not the best game on the platform. The next item, I don't think you would have guessed that I bought this item on the fair. I was browsing through all the Nintendo stuff. Yeah, you heard it right, Nintendo stuff. Because I have a Retron 5, I can also play NES games and Super Nintendo games. I saw lying around their Dream Master. This is complete in box and it's really, well, I won't say it's new, but it's pretty mint. There's a manual even. This is the cartridge. The label looks really nice. I really got hit by nostalgia here. Wow, I saw this game lying around in the store as a kid, and I know that I was standing there looking at the graphics and it looked so appealing to me. I would have liked to play the game and bring it home, but regretfully my mother didn't allow me to. And now, 20-30 years later, I have the possibility to own the game in its original state. I really like that. What I like about the gameplay is that if you feed an enemy some candy, you can jump into his suit and have that ability. The Dream theme is really well thought out here. The graphics are, especially for a NES game, really nice. I think it's a pretty decent platform. I have to play it a lot. I played it just a little bit, but I really like the game. For my Christmas, I would have liked to have a mini Nintendo, a Super Nintendo Classic Mini. The problem was that I went to the store with my girlfriend, they were sold out. Then I saw someone that had a Super Nintendo Mini lying around. He said, well, let's make a deal. This thing is new, it's brand new. I'll ask 55 euros for it. I said sold. Yes, I have it now. The reason why I wanted to have it because there were some games on it and I never owned a Super Nintendo. And especially Street Fighter is on there and Earthbound, for example. I'm not gonna pay. I saw it lying around on the fair for 700 euros. But it's here, so I could play it. RPGs are not my thing, but okay, I really liked it. Super Street Fighter, Mario is in there, Kirby, 2 Kirby games, Contra. I really like those kinds of games. I never owned them, so it was really fun to play all these games for the first time after 30 years. The next game has a Dutch title and I'm really glad that I found the Dutch version of this game. This is Robbedoes, or Spirou as it's called outside of the Netherlands and outside of Belgium. This is a game based off a comic and it has some elements that really resembles Kuifje or Tintin, as you may recall it in England, for example. This is an okay kind of puzzle platformer game in which you can only go one direction and if you can't go any further you have to go another way. The game is okay, but what I really like, and that's why I picked it up, that was a 2-for-1 sale together with another game. I will get back to that in a minute. Robbedoes is, not one of my favorite games and never will be, but the state of the game was pretty nice, so that's why I wanted to have it. The next game that I picked up was totally covered in stickers, and I made a special video how to remove stickers. I bought this game because it was totally covered in stickers and people had tried to get it off but miserably failed. And I saw the state of this game and it is in mint condition. And I really like cartoon-based games and I really like this game, to be honest. There are some gameplay mechanics that could have been improved, like the collision detection, but I like the different gameplay elements, that you are on the water and that you are on land and that you can drive in the Flintstones car. There's humor in the game and they really translated well the cartoon to the video game. It's not the best game on the platform, but it's definitely one of the best games that I picked up. I really like the game. The graphics are, by the way, are amazing of the game. There are items in my collection I don't like to play. There are items that I like to own because of the value they had, or value to the game industry. I'm talking about Night Trap for the Mega CD. The reason why I picked this up is because the game is in absolute mint condition. I got a great deal about it. Thank you, vendor. The reason why I want to have this game is because it was defining for the game industry. Together with Mortal Kombat, this was the game that stirred up the American government. There was some controversy about the game. When we're talking about the game itself, the problem is this is only a movie that you can define different paths. And that path is every time the same. And that makes it more an interactive movie than a proper game. What you have to do in the game, you have some pretty girls and there are ogres. Those are the bad guys in the video game. And you have to night trap, those ogres in order to save all the girls. What do you have to do? There are, I believe, 8 pictures on screen, and to check all those pictures, you have to catch those bad guys and lure them in a trap. You have to have the right access code, and you start with access code green, and that is for the first traps you set. Then later on in the game they change that, so you have to pay attention to when they change those access codes, and you have to really listen to the dialogues. You have to play the game multiple times to know what is going on where, in which scene and on which location.